In the movie Avatar, Pandora looks like a dream. Floating mountains, glowing forests, and an ocean so beautiful you'd want to dive right in. But if we dropped you there in real life, it wouldn't be paradise, it'd be a nightmare. The air could knock you out, the ground would never stop shaking, and those glowing plants might not be as magical as they look. In this video, we're going to strip away the Hollywood magic and ask, could a place like Pandora actually exist? And if it did, would humans stand a chance of living there? Let's start with the first thing you'd notice on Pandora, the air. In Avatar, the Na'vi wander around just fine, but humans need masks. And that's actually one of the most realistic details in the whole movie. See, our atmosphere here on Earth is about 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, and a sprinkle of other gases like argon and carbon dioxide. That balance is perfect for our lungs. But on Pandora, the mix is all wrong for us. James Cameron's world-building notes say Pandora's air has high levels of carbon dioxide and xenon. Sounds exotic, right? But in reality, too much CO2 would knock you unconscious in minutes, and xenon, while used in anesthesia, would literally sedate you. Imagine stepping outside, taking one breath, and suddenly feeling like you're halfway through surgery. Not exactly the paradise you signed up for. And then there's hydrogen sulfide. That's the gas that smells like rotten eggs here on Earth. Even in tiny amounts, it irritates your nose, throat, and eyes. In higher doses, it can kill you. On Pandora, it's part of the natural air mix. So picture standing under those floating mountains, taking in the view, and instead of, fresh air, it's more like, oh no, that egg salad's been in the sun too long. Now for the Na'vi, this all makes sense. They evolved on Pandora, so their lungs are built for it. But for humans, the masks you see in the movie wouldn't be optional. They'd be essential every second of every day. Forget leaving one in the car by mistake. Without it, you wouldn't last 5 minutes. Here's the ironic part though. Even though Pandora's air would kill us, it might actually be denser than Earth's. A heavier atmosphere could make sound travel differently. Birds, or banshees in this case, might sound deeper, and flying could be easier for creatures with big wings. That might explain how those massive beasts manage to soar through the skies without dropping like rocks. So yes, Cameron got it right. Pandora would be breathtaking, literally. If you wanted to live there, you'd need technology, oxygen supplies, and maybe even specially built habitats sealed off from the outside world. Imagine building your dream house on the most beautiful land you've ever seen, but you can only step outside wearing scuba gear. That's the paradox of Pandora's air. It makes the planet look alive and alien, but for humans, it's one long game of don't take off the mask. And honestly, that's probably scarier than the giant hammerhead rhinos or six-legged wolves. After air, the next thing that would mess with us on Pandora is gravity. According to Avatar lore, Pandora is a moon orbiting a gas giant called Polyphemus, kind of like Jupiter and its many moons. And just like Jupiter's moons, Pandora wouldn't sit still. It would constantly be tugged and stretched by the giant planet's gravity. On Earth, gravity feels pretty stable. We drop an apple, it falls. On Pandora though, Polyphemus would be yanking the ground under your feet, causing something called tidal heating. Think of it like kneading dough. The moon flexes, stretches, and warms up from the inside. The result? Earthquakes, volcanoes, and a surface that never really feels settled. So when the Na'vi dance around their glowing forest, just imagine the ground occasionally rumbling like your neighbor upstairs dropped a bowling ball. But here's the good news for your knees and back. Pandora's gravity would likely be weaker than Earth's. Some sources put it at around 0.8 G, which means you'd weigh about 20% less. If you're 150 pounds here, you'd be 120 on Pandora. Sounds like a dream, right? Suddenly, climbing trees like the Na'vi doesn't seem so impossible. You could leap higher, run faster, and maybe even survive bigger falls. Basically, Pandora is the world's greatest senior citizen fitness program. Now let's talk about those floating mountains. The Hallelujah Mountains. They look like pure fantasy, but Cameron actually borrowed from real science to justify them. Superconductors and magnetic fields. On Pandora, the idea is that the moon has strong magnetic fields interacting with unobtainium that made up mineral everyone's fighting over. Together, they create magnetic levitation. It's like the technology used in maglev trains, just cranked up to a ridiculous level. In reality, the idea has some physics behind it, but it would take magnetic fields so powerful they'd fry every piece of electronics, and possibly your nervous system too. Your credit cards wouldn't work, your phone would short circuit, and you might find your fillings buzzing like a tuning fork. So yeah, the mountains might float, but your pacemaker wouldn't. Another effect of living so close to a gas giant would be the view. Imagine looking up at the sky and seeing an enormous planet filling half of it. Beautiful, yes. Terrifying, also yes. The gravity tug from Polyphemus would mean Pandora has crazy tides in its oceans. Forget gentle beach waves, you could see massive tidal surges, maybe even ocean floods that reshape coastlines over and over again. So to sum it up, gravity on Pandora gives you superpowers, but it also comes with earthquakes, magnetic headaches, and oceans that refuse to sit still. Basically, it's like living inside a sci-fi theme park ride. Exciting, but not exactly relaxing. If Pandora's air and gravity didn't scare you off, the biology definitely would. Let's start with the part everyone remembers, the glowing forests. Bioluminescence is one of those things that looks like pure fantasy, but nature on Earth already does it. Fireflies, deep-sea jellyfish, even some mushrooms use chemicals that react with oxygen to create light. So a glowing forest, totally possible. On Pandora though, the glow is everywhere. Plants, bugs, even the Na'vi themselves seem to shine at night. In reality, glowing takes energy. For a whole forest to light up like Christmas, it would need a constant food source, and plants would basically be burning calories just to look fabulous. On Earth, evolution tends to be stingy. If glowing doesn't help you survive, it fades away. But maybe on Pandora, light is survival. Maybe glowing attracts pollinators, scares predators, or helps creatures find each other in the dark. Either way, it would make nighttime walks way more interesting, though probably also dangerous because you'd stand out like a neon sign. Now let's talk wildlife. The Na'vi aren't the only locals. There are hammerhead-like creatures, giant six-legged wolves, and of course, banshees that soar across the skies. Could life evolve to be that big? On a world with lower gravity and a denser atmosphere, yes. A lighter pull would let animals grow larger without collapsing under their own weight, and thicker air would make flying easier for big wings. So a banshee might not be totally impossible. Though let's be real, if one screeched in your ear, you'd probably rethink your dream of becoming a space cowboy. But here's the catch. Biology is rarely friendly. Those alien plants wouldn't just be pretty, they might be toxic. Many Earth plants evolved poisons to keep animals from eating them. On Pandora, where everything is bigger, brighter, and meaner, the chemistry might be off the charts. That gorgeous glowing flower could burn your skin. That fruit the Na'vi casually munch on might shut down a human liver in minutes. And then there's the microbial life. Earth microbes already cause endless problems. Imagine inhaling a spore or parasite from Pandora. Your immune system wouldn't even recognize it. Forget hammerhead rhinos. The real danger could be an alien cold that turns deadly because your body has zero defense. So while Pandora looks like paradise, surviving there would be like playing the hardest level of a video game. Weaker gravity gives you a boost, but everything else, from the air to the animals to the germs, is working against you. The Na'vi make it look graceful and effortless, but for humans, it'd be a non-stop battle just to stay alive. And that's the irony of Pandora. It's one of the most beautiful sci-fi worlds ever imagined. But if it existed, you'd need tech, training, and a whole lot of luck to even make it through a day. It's paradise on screen, but in reality, it'd probably eat us alive.